Good morning, good people. It's your man Cam, just jumping back on here. Boy, oh boy, watching the news, y'all. I tell you, this is one of the most craziest shows or acts on earth right now, as far as what's going on in this country with the government. Literally, this Tesla guy sends out an email as if we are still in college or working a summer job or something, to these federal employees, telling them to submit to him through email on pretty much why they should keep their jobs. What did you accomplish over the past week? Was the email. This is crazy, y'all. It truly is. This guy, both of these guys have both come into the White House and are truly flaunting the power that has been given to them, because they don't truly have any power. The only reason why they have power is because of what the people have given them, like I say, and because they got a little bit of money in their bank account. But one thing I can tell you, if people stop buying these ugly cars that this guy's been creating, and if people turn against this so-called president, then both of their lucks would truly change. And with that email that was sent out, a lot of employees were told not to respond and all these other things, because in that email as well, he said, well, if you don't respond to this email, then you pretty much are going to lose your job. I mean, in all truth, how crazy is that? This guy has once again been given control, and too much control over these people's jobs, and once again has not ever worked in politics or in the government, period, and can come in and take thousands of people's jobs away from them. And neither one of these guys are showing any form of compassion while doing so. That's what has me upset as well, because they're saying it as if it's not affecting anybody. All they thinking about is this raggedy bottom line in order to reduce the debt of this country, in which, once again, anybody with any common sense knows that trillions of dollars worth of debt will not ever be repaid. Not ever. But yet, these small-minded people that believe in both of these two power-hungry people think that they can truly get rid of the debt that this country is in by doing what they are doing. Like I said, these small-minded people who cannot think for themselves are holding on and latching on to every word and phrase that these two lowlifes are putting out and thinking it's truth. And I say this because biblically, whether you want to hear it or not, you need to look at 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. That particular verse describes everything when it comes down to people not wanting to hear the truth and wanting to be fed a bunch of lies in order to fulfill the false image and the false thoughts that they have of what life should be, in opposed to facing the reality of life, and that they're going to run with it. Look at 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. And once again, that's going to describe everything that's happening today as far as people not wanting to hear the true word. They want a bunch of lies so that their imaginations can be fulfilled. And as well, this so-called president is going to, I guess, start the tariffs on Canada and on Mexico starting on Friday. And there we go again with these crazy ideas that this guy has. Because if you don't look at both sides of the table and only look at one side of the table thinking that, well, these tariffs are going to make them pay more money to the United States, and that's going to help cut the debt. And it's going to affect their economy. But on the flip side, it's also going to affect the economy over here, whether they pay the tariffs or not. Because if they pay the tariffs, the cost on their goods are going to become more expensive. If they decide not to pay the tariffs and say, you know what, forget the United States altogether, all of the products that we have been receiving from Canada as well as from Mexico and the other Hispanic countries, we will no longer have. Meaning that we have to come up with our own produce and other things in order to feed the citizens of this country. And we all know that we do not have enough resources alone as a country in order to take care of everyone's needs. We don't. I don't care what no low life tells you or single-minded person tells you. We cannot produce enough items in order to sustain this country without the help of other countries. That's why we have products being shipped in from these other countries, because it's products that we cannot produce on our own. And if we are able to produce some of these products, we cannot produce enough of them in order to feed billions of people. Come on, y'all. It's time to wake up, man. These guys are slowly, but at the same time, quickly destroying this country. They talk so negative about what Biden did, what Biden had done. Oh, the economy was so terrible under Biden. But in the month and so many days that this guy has been in office, he has done and is doing more destruction to this economy than what Biden did in 4 years. Do you hear me? He is doing more destruction in 1 month than what Biden so-called done in 4 years. Man, we got to wake up, and we got, for the most part, 4 years of having to deal with all of this nonsense that this guy is putting out. And then you have, once again, these single-minded people out here who have no earthly idea about reality, praising this guy and praising these guys and saying what a good job they are doing. Just give it a year or two, and I guarantee you 85% or more of the people that was giving these guys praise are going to be on their hands and knees crying out to God, begging for help because of the situation they have been put in because of these guys. Y'all, it's some crazy times right now. And as well, he's come in and trying to change what the postal office has been doing since 1970 as far as running independently, and now putting that under control of the commerce or whatever have you, in order to regulate the mail delivery. When I tell you, this guy is on pace to turn everything government-wise over so that he can be in complete control of the government, so that when it's time for the votes to be done again and for him to leave the White House, because he can't be voted back in, so the votes don't even matter when it comes down to whether or not voting for him. But when the election comes around again, this guy's going to fight tooth and nail in order to try and stay in that White House. Hear me and hear me clearly. He is going to cause a civil war within this country when it comes down to him having to leave the White House. And if y'all don't see that, something's wrong. Mentally, you have a mental block if you're unable to see what I'm telling you, because it's truly unfolding right before our very eyes. And some people could say, well, I could care less about this country being destroyed because of what this country has done to their people. Not white, but black, Indian, or whatever race of people that have been treated as a second-class citizen in this country. But at the same time, you have to care, because if this country is destroyed and you have a dictator in the White House, he's going to control what you eat, how you eat, where you go, and what you do. So at least at this point in time, you have some form of freedom. But anybody who knows anything about how a communist country is ran, you have no rights to yourself unless the government gives you the okay. You can't open no businesses. You can't do anything that you do now. All of this social media stuff is going to be under more regulatory rules. Things that are being posted are not going to be able to be posted. Videos like the ones that I create could possibly put me behind bars because I'm speaking out against a country or against a government that is rapidly falling apart. So y'all, we got to wake up, man. Just looking at the news day to day, it's just proven that if something doesn't change and change soon, we're going to be in a world of trouble. And another thing too, over in Germany, they had their elections over there, and literally for the first time since Germany was under Nazi control, there's like different groups over in Germany, but the type of groups that would applaud what the Nazis had done and what the Nazis stand for literally came in second place as far as the polling in order to have control over Germany. And thankfully, it was only second place and they didn't win the election. But for that type of group of people to even come into second place is showing not only here in the United States, but all across the globe. These radical, terrorist-minded people are getting stronger once again. And just like we saw here, the first time that this president lost the election, and what occurred here, that group over in Germany, for them to come in second means that they have a large following. Meaning that if they want to start a riot and fight, they have a large group of people in order to put up a good fight. I'm just saying, y'all, for the Nazis' ideas to start to bubble up and bubble over once again over in Germany is not a good thing. You know, God makes kings. You understand? And history tells us that not all kings are truly good leaders. And that's why people like myself and others are sent in order to speak out and to stand up against these types of tyrants. Whether that means loss of life, whether that means having to fight, whatever it means, we have to speak out, because if we don't say anything, then we basically agree to all of the wrong that these leaders are involved in. And one thing Jesus said, you shouldn't fear man. You shouldn't fear the one that could kill the body. You should fear the one that can send your soul to hell and as well as kill the body. And that's God. So I don't fear what man can do to me. And neither should ye. But yeah, man, this is some crazy, turbulent times that we are in once again, y'all. And all we can do is buckle our seatbelts and get ready for this wild, crazy ride. But as well, stand firm in what you believe in and don't bend to the will of these false leaders because of fear. Because that's the only thing that could cause you to bend is fear. That you're afraid of them. But y'all just hear me out. Take what I say to heart, or at least think about the things that I've said, and really start putting these things together and see the fact that what I'm saying is truth. But hey, y'all be strong out there. And I love y'all, and I'm gone.